right, guys, I wanted to give you a little bit of insight as to how we like to coach nutrition at Move. There's a lot of free advice going around out there, and advice can be okay. But what we don't like to do is dish out advice without listening to what's going on in your life first. Imagine going to see a lawyer or a CPA and you just ask them a couple questions and they just stop right there and they just go blah, 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 with all the advice, but they haven't asked for a tax return. They haven't asked for scenarios. They haven't asked for documentation. There's been no questions. They just start telling you what to do. And you're kind of probably sitting there going, you don't know any of my specifics. At Move, we like to take a very logical approach. On the nutrition side, we really get a good feel for what's going on with your training, your lifestyle, your sleep. Believe it or not, what you're currently eating, like, whoa, as though that might play a factor into what you should do moving forward, right? Like, what are you doing and what needs to change? And that's just a quick overview of how we like to coach on the nutrition side. There's a few key reasons why we like to listen a lot before we start to give out advice. Number one, you can really assume that someone's eating too much, and that might be why they're having trouble losing body fat. That's a common assumption, just eat less. When you do a deep dive, sometimes you actually find out that someone's training their ass off and they're actually under eating, which is contributing to this sort of chronic fatigue, inability to gain muscle, lose fat. That's one key reason. The other key reason is you can assume that someone's not eating enough protein. And while that's common, sometimes it turns out that that's actually not the case. So don't treat nutrition as something that's less important in your life to get good advice on. Make sure you're working with coaches who do a good inventory first, really understand what's going on, and then pair that with intelligent advice. There's a couple of ways that we start to put this together initially. Is we have everyone that comes in get an InBody Scan done. That gives us a really good breakdown of lean mass, fat mass, actual muscle mass, body fat percentage, and how your body is holding on to or not holding on to water. That's really important data because when you know your lean mass and skeletal muscle mass to start and you have an idea of what your fat mass is, and then you start to train and maneuver your nutrition, you can actually monitor this on a quarterly basis and track your changes. So we start with InBody Scan, and we also connect you up to the app that we use, which is through the company Phorm, and that then allows you to track your food. And it allows your coach, whether that's myself or Jorge or Gabby, it allows them to actually see, all right, with reasonable levels of accuracy, what you're eating on a day-to-day basis. And while we're not obsessed about food weighing and all that other stuff, we really like to focus initially on food quality and get a sense there. So we pair the InBody up with tracking inside the app, and over time we coach based on look, feel, and perform. We're not that interested in the scale. It's part of the stats that we keep, but that's certainly not our primary focus. Once we get some time with you tracking in the app, 1 to 2 weeks generally, we get a sense for eating patterns, whether you're overeating, undereating, whether you're undereating during the week, and then weekends you're just going like all over the place. We get a pretty good look at your protein intake, your carb intake, and then we can start to understand, okay, based on your training and your lifestyle and your sleep, here's some of the initial changes we need to make. And we keep track of those changes on a weekly basis to make sure that over months, you are looking better, feeling better, and performing better. So just a little bit of insight. That's an overview of how we run the nutrition division at Move. So long-term with nutrition, we not only want you to look, feel, and perform better over time, but we want you to learn. We want you to understand what carbohydrates are, what proteins are, and what fats are, and what they actually do inside your body. Because we find that a lot of people come in, they've heard the word macro and they've kind of researched it, but at the end of the day, they don't know what roles carbs play versus proteins versus fats. And it's kind of why they're always spun in this cycle of what do I eat? What's the best approach? Is this bad? Is this bad? Should I be cleansing? Whatever the case may be. So that's one of our highest priorities here is that you're learning what to do over time relative to you and your body and your training needs. And we just keep matching you long term. If you're curious about the Move Nutrition side, just ping us, come in, ask questions. We're an open book.